Before our trip to Italy, I watched a video by Karl Rock called How to Buy Leather in Italy Without Getting Scammed, something like that. And it totally opened my eyes to what really happens in the leather markets in Florence, Italy. Knowing that I wanted to get some leather while I was traveling in Italy, I decided to kind of follow his path while I was in Florence. I passed through the market stalls in that main outdoor market where you see tons of vendors. Then we explored some tourist shops. We got very lucky and stumbled upon a more artisan shop with a gentleman who had been in business for decades. And I even went to the Florence School of Leathermaking just to see it for myself. And what I discovered on this trip is that not all made in Italy leather is created equally. And actually, not all of it is actually made in Italy. Don't buy leather in Florence until you see this. Some of the best travel videos that I've seen regarding shopping aren't the ones that tell you just where to shop, but they help you shop smarter and they help you avoid some common pitfalls when you're traveling. On this trip, I explored everything: bargain market stalls, family-run businesses, tourist shops, as well as an artisan leather making school right in Florence. So everybody talks about the Florence market. It's loud, it can be overwhelming, it's a lot of fun. You pass through stall upon stall upon stall of these vendors with so much selection, you don't really know where to begin. The one particular stall that I went to, I came across a market tote that you see everywhere in Florence. I'll talk more about that in a little bit, but the price on it was 40 euro. I picked it up and then he said, for you, 35 euro. And then I hesitated. He's like, how about 30? And I said, I just wanted to check it out because I have one of these and I was just comparing it a little bit. He said, what do you want to pay? And I just kind of looked at him because I wasn't planning on buying in that moment. It was one of the first stalls that I went to. As I was walking away, he said 20 euro. Like within 60 seconds, this guy cut his price in half. It's not that I didn't think the bag was cute. I actually own the bag in another color. I just could not believe how aggressive he was and how fast the price dropped. Kind of left you with like an icky feeling, like I want to get out of here. He just felt that pressure. And I think that is a very common feeling that people experience when they're at these outdoor market vendors. Because you're going to walk 3 feet and there's going to be another guy selling the same bags vying for your business. So in a lot of cases, they feel like they have to be aggressive to get you to buy at their stall because there are hundreds of other spots that you can shop in Florence. A lot of what's being sold here is being imported, is mass produced, and even if it says made in Italy, it doesn't necessarily mean that the leather is from Italy. It could mean that it was assembled in Italy, that parts are from Italy, and I think that some of the practices can be misleading. After doing a little bit of research, I found that if something says 100% made in Italy, it needs to be exactly that. That includes where it's designed, planned, manufactured, and packaged. But in order for it to say made in Italy, it just means that the last substantial transformation takes place in Italy. This means the cutting, the stitching, and final putting together of the leather goods must happen in Italy. The interesting part about this is that the raw materials, such as the leather itself, is not guaranteed to be made of Italian origin for this label. So it sounds like a lot of the leather that you're purchasing at these leather markets are likely to not even be from Italy. So they are imported from places like India and China, and then probably just assembled someplace in Italy. But here's the nuance. Not every stall is a scam. If I were to have picked up that market tote for 20 euro, it would have been a pretty good deal. I think the important thing when you're shopping in Florence is to just know what you're buying. Go into your buying experience knowing the red flags, knowing what to look for, and having the appropriate expectations. If you're buying a 20 euro shopping tote, it's not going to be the same as getting an artisan-made vegetable tan leather handbag. There are major differences, and you're probably going to see this reflected in what you pay. I have a very personal story that kind of ties into all of this. This is a bag we bought for my mother-in-law at this very market back in 2019 when my son Anthony was studying abroad. She had visited Italy decades earlier when my husband actually studied abroad in the same school where Anthony was studying. So the Florence market had already held a lot of meaning to her. When I was preparing to do this video, I asked if I could take this bag, and I was looking through it and, seeing a lot of the things that I will show you that show poor craftsmanship. But I saw the zipper and I noticed that it was a YKK zipper, and I said to my mother-in-law, my gosh, this zipper is really nice. It seems a little out of place. And she said, that's because I had it replaced. I love the bag so much that when the zipper broke, I paid to have that replaced to just get more life out of the bag. And I thought that was so telling. Like, she loved this bag. The sad part is, if it was made with the craftsmanship that you would expect in Italy, it would still be going strong, in my opinion. But over time, the seams split, the handles started to peel. Obviously, the zipper broke. I mean, this is literally coming apart at the seams. The inside does say genuine leather, made in Italy. A fabric liner inside the bag. You can see how the handles are just peeling. That to me is really not a good sign. Then you look at the bottom and the stitching has come undone. It's, like I said, it's literally falling apart at the seams. I mean, it has feet that are really nice. That probably gave this bag a little bit more life. And you can see that the zipper has been replaced. So I don't really know what it looked like prior to installing the new zipper. I don't remember what we paid for this, probably somewhere between $50 and $75 6 years ago. But you would expect, or at least I would expect, something made in Italy would last longer than that. So when we went back this time, we wanted to replace it with something of higher quality, obviously, because it meant so much to her. So we were looking for a similar style, just better quality. So after I had watched that video, I was really skeptical about going back to this market, but my husband had kind of an emotional attachment to it. And he's like, Lori, this is what my mom loves. This is where I went to school. This is where she got her first bag from us. I want to buy it in that market. And I had my heart set on going to the School of Leathermaking, and I knew it would be more expensive, but I really wanted to explore that option. So Jay said, let's go to the market first and see what we can find. So you walk down this area in Florence where all of these vendors are, like I mentioned, but on the back side and back of where all those vendors are actual shops. And we got very lucky because the first shop that we went into was a family-owned business. They showed me all the things I needed to see to buy with confidence. I did ask the shop owner if I could film. He was very proud. He had been in business for decades. He told us that he has customers who come back year after year. If there's an issue, they call him. He handed me his business card. He gave us a beautiful keychain, a little leather keychain with a fleur-de-lis on it as a gift with our purchase. He answered all of our questions. So why don't I just pause and we'll go to his shop and I will show you exactly what happened when we bought the new bag for my mother-in-law.
This one is the finish is all made by hand. It here handmade stitching. Here don't open. If you look here, both same level.
Yeah.
Is inside I put leather. This is all leather inside too.
That's beautiful.
This is the color, tannery vegetable color, not chemical. The color.
Vegetable tan.
And they made by hand.
Yeah.
The color made by hand, not the spray.
Yeah.
And if you use more, this get more nicer and get it better.
Yeah. Is this your family?
Yes, they make it my family.
Very
I have a
nice.
small factory, 43 years. I make it.
I love it.
20 euro, 30 euro, 20 euro.
Yeah, that's just what they said.
This bag is asking 35 euro, not Chinese quality. The leather not nicer and finish not nice. And that's not full grain. You make it the leather like this, rip easy.
Yeah.
No, much. You can tell when you walk in.
You can tell. We had a good feeling about you.
If it's no, it's different. You know,
Smells different?
it is, that one very stronger. That one is import from India. Indian leather is very bad. It's no. It's leather, but not. It's totally not nice.
What's your family brand?
Tata.
Dana. Okay, great. Yeah, these are beautiful. Gorgeous. That's cool. We just had a very positive experience purchasing a beautiful leather bag for Jay's mom at a shop right in the market. You know, we walked by all of the hoopla where everything looks the same. It just felt so nice to get something from somebody we felt good about, you know, because there are hundreds and hundreds of choices here. It's really overwhelming. You can see the difference in the quality of leather with the new bag that we bought for my mother-in-law. He explained to us that it was vegetable tan leather. He showed us all the finishing around the edges. You also saw that the interior of the new bag was leather lined as opposed to the polyester fabric of the one that we purchased in 2019. The stitching of the bag was beautiful. He also talked about his workshop where things were made. It was such a positive buying experience that I would go back to their business. It gave me confidence leaving the shop with a business card. And actually, when we left, we walked back into the big vendor market and they actually had a booth right next to all the aggressive vendors who were also part of the market. So as I said in the beginning, they're not all scams. You just have to know what you're getting into and ask the right questions so you get what you're looking for. We also paid 125 euro for my mother-in-law's bag. Obviously, we paid more for her bag this time around, but I'm also very optimistic that this is going to last a lot longer than 6 years. This bag was just disappointing because she cherished it. She loved it enough to have the zipper replaced. Even a well-loved bag should still hold up over time. The handles should not be peeling and the seams should not be coming apart. And that's just the risk you run if you buy from the wrong stall. So what we bought this time was not mass-produced. It wasn't fast fashion. It was beautiful craftsmanship, which leads me to the Florence School of Leathermaking, which is where I made a purchase for myself, and I'm so happy with it. This shop is less about retail and more about artistry. It's an entire campus. I really didn't know what I was walking into.
The campus is gorgeous.
You know, I just put it in GPS and I walked over. It was just beautiful. You had to kind of walk through the whole campus and up these stairs around the back to get into the shop area. They had all different rooms throughout the building. I got the impression that in some rooms they were higher end pieces that you could make to order and you weren't taking them home that day. You were picking out the leather, potentially the hardware, some engraving if you wanted it, and then they would ship it to you at a later date. And some of these pieces you were spending over $2,000. There was a beautiful like leather woven piece that really caught my eye, and another woman was looking at it. I want to say that was like $1,200. It was gorgeous, but I wasn't in the market to spend that much. What I ended up coming home with was this beautiful kind of like little bucket style bag. I love the size of this and I love how functional and timeless this is. I do not look at this as like a trend piece. Because I was traveling, I kind of had travel ideas in my mind. So I wanted something in the center that zipped so that I could put my wallet and passport in a safe place. Always worried about pickpocketing when you're in these big cities. We were at the Vatican. We got so many warnings about pickpocketing outside of the Vatican. So I kind of had that in mind when I purchased this, but I also loved that it was open on the sides so that I could put like less important stuff or even like a bottle of water, anything that I needed in the side. It was really good size. Just for reference, I have an iPhone like Pro Max, and it also came with, I haven't even used this yet, 2 different detachable straps. So this is one of them that is more formal. So you can wear it as a shoulder strap and you can make this tighter so it works on your shoulder, or you can wear it as a crossbody. But they also included a second strap, and this is what I used for most of my trip. I think this is so cute, and this is a really casual style with like a cream colored trim, just beautiful. And both of these attach to the sides, or you can just wear it as a top handle and then it becomes like a little date night bag. So I felt like this was a 3-in-1 bag. It also had feet on the bottom. They had this in a variety of colors. I was tempted to get like a red or burgundy, but I played it safe as I often do. But I'm so happy with this purchase. This was 310 euro. They took care of all the duty-free stuff paperwork for you right there. They packaged it up. I got a beautiful dust bag with it, tied with a beautiful ribbon. This was like a better experience than when I spent over $2,000 at Louis Vuitton. This experience felt so special. And as I was walking through, you could see people working on stuff. There were students who were stitching in rooms. There was a section kind of in the main hallway where you could go and have engraving done on your handbags for free. So I had hopped in the line, but there was a woman in front of me and she was having multiple bags done. So I got to see her excitement when her initials went on. The first thing I saw was a wallet, and then they were working on a bag. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to stay and have any engraving done because we had to catch a train to Venice. So what they said they would do is that they would engrave, I believe, the inside. They could put my initials in here someplace. So I don't think that this was like the best candidate for engraving. Like the wallet that I saw the woman in front of me do was just beautiful. There is a tag on the inside here though that says the School of Leathermaking in Florence, and then the inside is all leather. This is just even a step above the family shop, in my opinion. It's cool to think that some of the students at the school could go on to be the next designer of the it bag of the future. I was very grateful for the TikToks that I saw about this shop and for the video that I saw prior to going. It was really such a special experience. This was actually something you could just buy off the shelf. It could have been even more customized. If I had more time, I might have gone that route, but I'm so happy with this bag. So you can kind of see the different types of experiences and leather that you can buy when you're in Florence. Okay, so not everything falls into these extreme categories of this is falling apart at the seams and this is a family heirloom. There are just those mass-produced pretty leather pieces that are great to take home to family and friends when you're traveling as a nice souvenir. So to get back to that shopper tote that I was talking about in the market that went from 40 to 20 euro in 60 seconds, this is the bag that I actually brought with me to Italy that I purchased at the Fenway flea market last summer for $40. It's totally squishy and unstructured. I love a simple tote bag, and now that I live in Boston part-time, I really appreciate a lightweight bag. If I'm doing errands, I can throw things in my bag. My shoulder's not gonna be weighed down if we end up walking for quite a bit, which I often do in the city. I love this bag. I have a thing for handbags, and I feel like I have a lot of fancy bags, and I am amazed by how much I reach for this little tote that was pre-owned. So when I saw these at the market in Florence, I was tempted to get it for 20 euro. I just started kind of my adventure of looking at leather, and I just wasn't ready to purchase. As it turned out, when we got to Venice, which was the last leg of our trip, I was like, okay, it's now or never. And they have a lot of these little tourist shops through Venice. Venice is like a maze of beautiful restaurants and shops. And there are probably, I don't know, without exaggeration, probably 20 to 30 of these souvenir leather shops that you go into. They smell of leather, they're wonderful. I'm sure not all of those are created equally either. However, by that time in the trip, I had seen so many of these leather shops that I felt like I was kind of ready to make a purchase. So I ended up getting my daughter a beautiful, like a navy blue little pebbled leather shoulder bag. I had sent her a few different images of things. She picked what she wanted. She has that in Boston. And I ended up getting 2 of these shopper totes. So this is the one from the Fenway flea market, and this is the one that I bought in Venice. Now, they also had this in Florence, and funny enough, I ended up spending 29 euro on this one when I could have gotten one in Florence for 20. And the reason I didn't buy that one in Florence was because that guy was so aggressive and I didn't trust him, and I questioned the whole transaction. Like, it just felt icky. I didn't want to buy from that guy. This shop, the prices were not negotiable. They were priced reasonably. I actually saw a couple for 35 in similar shops. 29 seemed to be a really good price. And the woman at this shop was just very straightforward. They had mass-produced items, but they were beautiful. She was answering questions. They boxed things up for me. I also got a couple of these like little leather card holders. These were 10 euro, and I bought a few of these to give as gifts. I also picked this little shoulder bag up, and I kept the tag on this to show you. This was so cute. This was all at the shop in Venice. Now, this is not leather lined or anything, but I thought it was an adorable pebbled leather bag, and it has this little chain that goes with it. I honestly regret not buying more of these because I think these would have made such cute gifts. This was 18 euro. I left the price tag on this. I got this bag at the same shop as this one. And I also got one of these shopper totes in a beautiful like burgundy wine color. So I brought the chocolate brown home and the burgundy wine, and I let my mom choose which one she liked better. So she took the burgundy wine one, and then I got this as a new shopping tote that I did not need, but I do love it. So 29 euro is equal to about 33 American dollars. So this was actually less money than what I paid at the Fenway Flea Market for a pre-owned one. This feels a little bit better made than this. And I don't think it's a question of, well, this is older. Like, this is just a little bit more substantial. So it makes it just a little hardier. But they're both really nice bags. They both have this little pocket here with the zip, and it just says genuine leather, made in Italy. Now, is this the highest quality leather? Probably not. In fact, at the shop where we got my mother-in-law's bag this time around, he said that a lot of the bags come from Pakistan. For these shoppers, it didn't really matter to me. I wanted something cute. I wanted a little souvenir from Italy, and this totally fits the bill. This is what I am currently in right now, going back and forth to Boston. This fits a lot in it. No complaints whatsoever. I might even wear this more than this bag. It just all depends on what you're looking for. So even the mass-produced ones, they're not family heirlooms, but they're cute, they're functional, and they're affordable. And that might be just what you're looking for when you're shopping in Florence. And really quickly, I just want to mention this bag that I picked up in Ascoli earlier in the week. This is a vintage bag that was made in Italy, and it's beautiful. This is another option. I'm just mentioning this because I got a lot of handbags when I was in Italy, but this has nothing to do with Florence. It's just another avenue you can take if you're looking for quality. Oftentimes you can find quality pieces in vintage, and that is the case with this. This is just gorgeous. It's a beautiful clutch. I love this accent piece right here. I just figured I had a lot of leather pieces to share with you, so I was so excited to make this video. This is also proof that quality doesn't just last for years, it lasts for decades. And unfortunately, this bag did not have the same trajectory as something like this. And also, buying vintage is sustainable too, so that's always going to be one of my first go-tos when it comes to shopping. So rather than thinking of Italian leather as a ladder, I think of it as like a hierarchy of experiences. There's the market bargains that you can get for 20 euro from the guy shouting at you. It may not even be made in Italy, but it might be cute. It could be tied to a very nice memory. You're just not really sure what you're getting, so buyer beware with those guys. There's the tourist shops, like in Venice, where I had a fantastic experience. There was no haggling. Also, at those shops, I had bought one of these that I didn't quite like the color, and there were weird zippers in the front, and I didn't realize it until the next day. So when I went back to get the market totes, I brought one of these back and I asked if I could exchange it. And she's like, oh, of course, no problem. She took it back and she applied that money to my new purchase. So I really thought that the experience I had in Venice was wonderful. And I'm sure there are shops like that in Florence as well. Mass produced, but real leather and a good value for the price. The family-owned shop was a really great experience, and I love supporting small businesses like that. I felt like I was buying with confidence. That's going to last a very long time. I could call with questions. I could revisit them if we go back to Italy in 10 years. It's very likely that that same man is going to be there selling his leather goods, and it's something you can feel good about. And the Florence School of Leathermaking, I don't even know what to compare that to. Like I said, it was better than any luxury handbag buying experience I've had before. I thought it was more like artistry around you. You could customize things right there and touch it with your own hands. It's not like being online and, clicking things to customize it. You are there. You are touching the leather. You are seeing everything around you. It was such a magical, immersive experience. So the point isn't that one is better than the other, although that does come across. It's just knowing about what you're looking for and what you're buying. Do you want a 20 euro souvenir, or do you want a $2,000 heirloom piece? Just don't be fooled by the shiny Made in Italy tag that is on everything you will see in Florence. Okay, that's all for now. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you ever find yourself in Florence, I hope that these tips are helpful, and I think these would apply anywhere you are. Trust your gut, ask the right questions. If it seems too good to be true, it might be. Sometimes you get what you pay for, but most of all, have a good time when you're out there shopping in Florence. It is such a beautiful city. I can't wait to go back. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to subscribe for more thrifting and shopping adventures. I will take you along with me in my travels. I have a declutter video coming up for you very soon, and I'm hosting another thrifted birthday party. We have one friend who is like the anti-thrifter, and we are throwing her a party where every gift is thrifted, so you won't want to miss it. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you soon in another video. Ciao!